and great to see you all here. I would like to speak briefly about the context, the business context of some of these analysis tools and project examples that that already we heard about. So one of the challenges in bioinformatics in general is that bioinformatics seems to be detached from practical challenges and problems. So the hackathon is an opportunity to connect biotechnology, or where the data is getting generated and what to do with that data, to bioinformatics, where we focus on analysis approaches and insights from data with real world problems. And these are defined in business terms. So as someone who has started several different companies in the past, has a lot of experience and success and failure in a lot of these companies, I know that there are several important things to think about as you approach this hackathon. So the first one is, what problem are we solving and how are we solving this problem? The second one is, what does the solution really look like and who is going to use that solution? And then what is the business value proposition? How does this solve a business problem that someone is willing to pay for? So the objective of the hackathon is to connect these together and allow student teams or research teams to try and propose some of these problems and face the kind of real world challenges and opportunities that the microbiome has produced. So one important aspect of this is really how to narrow down the many different opportunities that are out there that align with your interests and have the potential to be interesting to investors, users, or companies that you might work with or for. So as someone who maybe comes from a biotechnology, bioinformatics, or a research background, you might be thinking, how can I leverage some of my understanding of this field and what the potential of the microbiome holds to really showcase my skills and understanding of how this could work in a very, very practical way? And so this is going to be critical to understand beyond just kind of the technical things that we've already heard about, and focused on what does the solution really look like. So the first subject that you will have to decide is, what problem will you solve? And we separated this hackathon into 3 specific problems. The first one is gut microbiome. And again, we are focused on preclinical challenges and problems. So the reason for that is because when you start going into clinical problems, there's all kinds of ethical as well as regulatory issues that we just don't have the time to address. So this hackathon is going to be focused on preclinical opportunities. So what are some opportunities with microbiome for health and wellness? The immediate thing that comes to mind, of course, is obesity, general kind of health and wellness, but it becomes a lot more detailed as you start looking at the data. So what we will do for that particular challenge is bring you experts that have seen multiple companies that are trying to innovate in that space and connect insights from microbiome studies to specific challenges like obesity or preclinical conditions like pre-diabetic patients and people who experience negative results of obesity, to try and solve them with different types of interventions. And we'll talk about what opportunities are there, what other companies are trying to do, how you might differentiate, and what is the real value proposition for some company or idea or a product that wants to disrupt the market and do something different. The second field is related to beauty, aging, and skin microbiome. So the skin microbiome is very different from the gut microbiome, and that leads to specific methods of sequencing, data preparation, analysis, etc. And so what we will do is we will curate several examples that during the month of November, we will actually share some insights from. And we will bring some experts who are actively pursuing this opportunity with skin microbiome and have identified some interesting trends and maybe special opportunities that you could focus on as well. The third one is related to the general topic of femtech. So femtech refers to technology that can help address issues like pregnancy, healthy birth, conception, and things like that. And so what is important there is that, you need to understand how real data can inform us about these things in general as a research problem, but then also how can we take insights from these research questions and turn them into practical actual tools or products that people will use. So one example of a product could be a recommendation engine. And so we will spend some time speaking about what is a recommendation engine, how can we use insights from microbiome data analysis and link it to other types of information like diet, physical activity, genetic background, and environment. So what's important is to be able to use some kind of analytical approaches to be able to categorize different types of interventions, suggest combination of steps that need to be taken, and also to monitor progression. We will also talk about who is your audience and the importance of understanding your audience and how they view a potential product. So here what's going to be important is to think of, the age range, the background, maybe in terms of where people work, what do they know, what is their education level, and to be able to analyze that data and come up with real clear understanding of what is the market that you're trying to approach with your solution. So we'll talk about some of the challenges and opportunities that existing companies on the market have faced. For example, a lot of the companies that are already making microbiome testing available on the market are facing a problem of knowledge and understanding of what the microbiome can do for them, cost of sequencing and cost of these tests, so how much people are willing to pay for some of these tests, or even their ability to follow the instructions that maybe these tests will recommend, right? Purchase additional pro and prebiotics, change their dietary habits, etc. So then we'll talk about what is the product, right? What really could you propose as your ultimate solution? And that can fall into several different categories. So it can fall into the category of a real physical product, for example, a pre or a probiotic. That could be a pill, that could be a cream, it could be some kind of a marketable product that is physical. And then you face additional challenges, right? Where are you going to source those specific interventions? How are they going to be packaged? Who are they going to be sold through, etc.? Maybe you're thinking of a product idea that is an application that the users will use on their smart watch or their iPhone or some kind of a mobile device. That could be an option as well. And there you need to think about, well, what exactly is it going to do? Where's the data going to come from? And what kinds of insights are going to be made available? And then you could also might be thinking about a product that is not for a customer. It's maybe for a company. So a company will need a very different type of insight compared to a user, right? So instead of an individual and their recommendations, they might want to look at comparison between multiple individuals or multiple types of products or multiple types of challenges. So really, it's a platform kind of an idea. In addition, we will talk about how to define your competition in terms of the value chain. For example, there are many different microbiome testing kits on the market. How are they different from each other? Why do each one of them claim that they are the most advanced or the most comprehensive? How do we actually know if they are more advanced or more comprehensive? And then based on their pricing, how can we identify who is going after the low pricing strategy, who's going after the high and premium kind of a product strategy, and how can you position yourself and differentiate sufficiently from this competition to offer something new, different, and valuable to your target market. We'll also talk about some of the trends in the market, which areas have been tried, which areas remain to be tried, and what is successful, what is not successful, what is growing, what is kind of diminishing, what are some of these trends that are important to look at. Finally, we will talk about how your solution can capture the market. So as a whole, we know that the market is growing at a fairly rapid pace. At the same time, we know that investors are becoming concerned with new companies just proposing kind of marketing campaigns of the same solutions focused on just pricing differences. So really, there's going to be a challenge not only to develop an idea about the product, but also define how can this product be introduced. Now, of course, this is not going to be something that you have to figure out completely over the course of the full hackathon. The idea here is really to think through all of these different stages, understanding the microbiome space from a technology and from the value proposition sides, combining this understanding with a practical opportunity in one of the three areas that we already defined, and then working with a mentor to get enough feedback about your proposal so that you can actually present something meaningful and valuable at the hackathon end. So with that, the key kind of result from all of this is going to be your demo. And the demo is primarily a presentation. So the presentation will address your insights. So this must be based on real data. Again, we will provide you with some examples of data, but we will also talk about other repositories of data that you could leverage to gain insights. And so you can use either the tools that we have described today or your own analysis pipeline. But the main idea would be that whatever your proposed solution is, it is based on insights that are rooted in real data sets. These data sets might not be comprehensive. They might not answer all of the questions, but there's enough evidence that this is realistic and important. The second will be your market research analysis. So how have you analyzed the market itself, the competition that is out there, how many people or companies will be using your product, and what are some trends that are important to understand in terms of regulatory frameworks, opportunities for monetization and things like that. The next point will be about product design. What is this? Is this a physical product? Is this an application? Is this a platform? Is this some kind of a report that you are selling or that you are proposing to develop? And how will that be used by real users? Where will they find out about it? How will they produce data that will be ingested? What would be the results of that analysis? What would be the actual points at which they need to interact, maybe with support or consultation or something like that? So thinking through all of those aspects of the product, so to say. The value proposition. So how is this product solving that problem that people are willing to pay for, right? And what is the alternative that maybe they have to avoid to choose this proposal that you have? Then we'll talk about go-to-market strategy. Are you going to advertise and sell on Amazon? Are you going to develop an app and put it on the, iPhone or Android platforms? Are you going to, organize some kind of a marketing campaign with hospitals or wellness centers? What exactly is your strategy, and how realistic is that strategy? What needs to happen for that to be successful? And then finally, what is the business value? So what is the business value that is being produced by using this solution? Are these new insights that are somehow valuable to companies? Are these recommendations that people can use? Are they going to stay with it just for, one time, or is this going to be a continuous value that is generated and maybe to multiple users at the same time? So really the culmination of this hackathon is going to be about how you can contextualize your understanding of biotechnology, your bioinformatics capabilities, and your kind of understanding of data analysis approaches like algorithms and user interfaces to produce some kind of a business value. And we hope that as a result, you will showcase your ability to think differently, kind of understand the market and propose real innovative solutions, and connect with experts in the field, companies, as well as investors that are ready to consider in a more serious way some of the ideas that you might have. So with that, I would like to pass it on to Ayushi, I guess, to talk about the schedule of the hackathon and the registration.